maskaxdii dunidu malaasan mawjadaheeda kala miirtay ee macnaysay maarkii qarsoona.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Teachers, now we are again back for the same unit, listening unit grade 12, unit 5. We have come to now discuss the writing segment. Since as we have already said before, we have the layout of the book is by now clear to us, that it has A, listening and speaking, B, reading comprehension, C, vocabulary, D, grammar, E, other aspects of language like literature, oral literature, riddles, for proverbs, or written literature, poems, oral poems, and so on. Then the last segment is always write on. And today, this lesson, we are going to be putting our emphasis on how we are going to achieve the skills learned in this segment, writing. This writing can come in many forms. Sometimes it can be imaginative writing, or writing summary, report writing, synopsis, writing that is related to the reading passage. Since we have developed this system as a student center and it is integrated, when a student is learning listening and speaking, at the same time he is learning grammar, he is learning vocabulary, he is learning literature, he is learning listening and speaking skills and other skills necessary for his or her own sociological and psychological development in terms of education. Now, writing comes in many forms, as I've said. We also have functional skills writing, those formatted writing like letter writing, diaries, recipes, writing minutes, writing letters. Letters could be formal letter or informal letter, writing emails, formal email or informal email, and so on. Those formatted writing. Now in this particular writing segment, we will be having summary writing. And another essay based on a topic given to student to write imaginatively, an imaginative composition. Now, to begin with, this is going to be our objective. Write clear and correct sentences and organize ideas in a logical sequence. What does this mean? By the end of the writing lesson, by the end of this lesson, the learner, your student, is supposed to be able to write clear. Clear means a writing work that is understandable, that is coherently readable, that is logical, that meets the mechanics of writing, well punctuated, and meets all the criteria of a good writing work. Correct sentences means how he or she is going to develop sentences. Yeah? Are they grammatically correct? Do they give logical meaning? Are they relevant to the topic that he or she has been asked to write? And are they flowing? Are they in sequence or just a random writing? Now, because if you tell a student, write an essay on this topic without giving the guidelines, without the objective, without showing him or her how it is organized, how ideas are linked, it's not going to be easy for that student to produce a well-written piece of writing. So that's why we have the objective. So we begin by the objective, as we have always done in all other units. In all other units and segments, whether it is listening and speaking, whether it's reading comprehension, whether it is writing, whether it is literary analysis, and so on. So here, there will be a reading segment where the student is going to read. Methodologies which we are going to use is reading and summarizing a text. This means you as the teacher will give the student a piece of text, a text to read. Read for information intensively, to understand the main ideas, what this text is about, the main point. As the student read, advise him to highlight or jot down the words that are very important, those that carry the main points discussed in that text. Now let learners write topic sentences to sum up the main idea in paragraph 1. For example, you have given him a text. Now you give him the instruction. Read paragraph 1. What is the writer talking about? Use one sentence to summarize the first part of the first paragraph. One topic sentence. After doing that, write another sentence to support that one, to support the topic sentence. The topical sentence is always very important. It should be translating, or it should be explaining what you are about to write. Okay? Teachers, now we are discussing about the units, same units, unit 5, grade 12. And the lesson is about writing, write on. As we have umpteen time explained and said before that these books, grade 9, 10, 11, 12, or secondary school textbooks, English, the way they are arranged, their layout, we have listening and speaking, reading comprehension, vocabulary, writing. Sometimes we have other aspects of language like literature or written literature, poetry. So today we are emphasizing on what we are going to study, that we want our students to understand is the skill, one of the 4 skills, which is writing skills. As the topic suggests, write on. Now, to begin with, like all other units, all other skills in the English language, writing has also objectives to be achieved. And here we have our objective. write clear and correct sentences, and organize ideas in a logical sequence. Now here are keywords. The topic is writing, meaning at the end of the lesson, the student is supposed to write. And we know, and I've talked about, there are many types of writings. Two types of writing, basically the functional writing, which is formatted writing, like letter writing, whether official or informal, whether informal or formal, emails, formal email or informal email, minutes, reports, diaries, recipes, all those written writing work that has format to be followed, unlike the freestyle essays, which only require the creativity, use of language, and other mechanics of good writing and grammar, which all of them, including the formatted writing, will also entail this criterion. So here we have there are keywords here. As a teacher, before you begin to give students the writing task, make your objective very clear. Tell them at the end of this lesson, you are going to achieve this objective. And what does this mean? By the end of the lesson, the learner, who is the student you're going to teach, is able to write clear and correct sentences and organize ideas in a logical sequence. Now, clear, to be precise, precision. If you are write a summary about a topic, if you have told the student to write a synopsis, a book review, exactly according to the instructed topic, clear. Clear again in terms of how logical the sentences he or she has used are, how clearly he or she has communicated. So it's very important. Correct sentences. Correct sentences here means the sentences must be grammatically correct. They must follow the norms. They must convey a logical meaning. They should have correct wording, subject-verb agreement. Does it make sense? Is it grammatically correct? Is it giving logical meaning? Is it relevant to the topic? And so on. And organize ideas in a logical sequence. Now, to organize the sentences, the student is going to write a summary or an essay. It should be organized such that the first sentence, the topic sentence, must capture what the student is about to write. There should be a topic sentence, a supportive sentence, which reinforces the point that has been explained in the first sentence. Then build the essay or the summary, build the writing, link ideas. This you must teach students how to link ideas. Teach them adhesives to make their writing coherent. Adhesives. For example, if a student wants to begin a sentence, to begin with, to start with, firstly, this happened. Secondly, furthermore, since we do this, in summary, these linking words to make it organized in a logical sequence, such that it is flowing. It's not a random thought that this paragraph, the second paragraph, the third paragraph, this organization. And before all these skills, there's another very important skill which we tend, most of the time, some teachers ignore. That demoralizes students from participating in essay writing. Handwriting, legible, number one. And the handwriting, I will give you 2 points. One, legibility. Is the handwriting of the student legible? Can it be read? The words he or she has written. Are they correctly spelled? Has he or she spelled the words correctly? Handwriting. Coherence. Are they subject, verb agreement, and so on? Are they in agreement? Are they coherent? Now, the methodology, since in this writing segment we will going to have 2 writing tasks. One will be summary writing. And as we know, summary, you cannot summarize something without having the content to summarize. A student is given a text. Give the student a text, probably a passage from the book. Tell him or her, either in groups or individually, to read and discuss the main points of this text. Let them write down the main points without adding opinions. They cannot, let them use their own words. Teach them the paraphrasing skills. Let them paraphrase. Recurring words. Let them not repeat words. Instead, let them use synonyms for the recurring words in different paragraphs. So when they are summarizing a text, these guidelines will be very helpful. Ask the learners, let the learners write topic sentence. Tell them, first of all, after you have read the text and understood the content, the main points, and you have jotted down, now you want to write the summary or your essay on the topic. Write a topic sentence. Go around the student, check who has written the best topic sentence. Take that as an example to inspire the rest of students. Then, after the topic sentence, which sums up the main idea in paragraph 1, or the first part of paragraph 1 sentence, then write a supportive sentence to reinforce the first topic sentence, the topical sentence, which is very important. Now, to link the topic sentence and the supportive sentence, you must use those linking words, the conjunctions, all the words, the writing words that this student has used in previous lessons. Let learners write supportive sentence to reinforce their idea. Then use a cliché sentence. Now here we have said build the ideas based on the information from in the text without using the exact words from the text unless where relevant. What does this mean? If you are told summarize the book, write a synopsis of this chapter, this unit. Write a summary. You have jotted down the main points. You want to add your opinion. You might miss out the objective or what that book was about. Instead, try to paraphrase what's in the book in your own words without changing the meaning. But well relevant. For example, there are some things which you cannot ignore, like statistics. Like there were 120 people in the plane that crashed. Maybe it is a passage you are reading. If you are talking about the catastrophe there, those statistics, maybe you can quote the book. Sometimes you might be asked to quote the book. in writing some expository essays. That's a different issue. But when you're summarizing, try to paraphrase, use linking words, and make your work coherent and adjective. Tell students to use these skills, to use their listening and speaking skills. Let them put what they have learned in the reading comprehension skills into practice and write the summary or the essay on the topic they are assigned to do. One more thing, when they are writing, you have to check the spelling rules, the spelling, legibility, spelling, because pronunciation, which they have learned in listening and speaking, there are spelling rules. How parts of speech, words change from one part of speech to another. The vocabulary they learned in the reading comprehension, let them utilize. So writing skills and writing tasks that are given to students are very, very important, because the more they write, the more they develop the skill of their vocabulary, because it is the writing task given that will encourage them to do more reading. And as they do more reading, they will learn more vocabulary. And when they have the vocabulary and they know how to organize, teach them sentence structures. How do you structure sentences? How do I change active sentence into passive? Because when we are writing essays, mostly we use passive sentences. The plane crashed, active sentence. The bad weather made the plane to crash. The plane was crashed. The plane crash was caused by the bad weather. You see, passive and active sentence. The way to change sentences from active to passive, and from passive to active. Sentence structure, simple sentences. Let them use simple sentences that they understand, instead of using complex, instead of using words which they don't understand and hindering their communication. Let them use words that they know the meaning. Where they don't know, allow students to have the active dictionary. Check the meaning. Advise them not to use sentences, not use words in a sentence before you know its meaning. Lest they are going to make their essay out of context or irrelevant. So sentence structure, students should be taught how to structure sentences and make their writing more vivid and creative. Since writing is an art, they should be encouraged to do a lot of reading. Give them short stories. Give them the phrases, the phrasal verbs, the idiomatic expressions, those imagery, those words, persuasive words that make the essays very interesting, so that their writing becomes very vivid and clear. That's why we are saying write clear and correct sentences which are in logical sequence. Logical sequence here means the first sentence, topical sentence, supportive sentence, then building the paragraph, first paragraph, second paragraph. The first paragraph, the second paragraph should reinforce the ideas of the first paragraph, such that the whole essay is flowing. In summary writing, if there is a limit for words, sometimes you can be told, you can ask the students, write a summary of not more than 150 words. You might find in our books, not more than 150 words. You may include your summary, this, and that. So make sure he has followed the instructions. This will help the student, beside learning English language and writing skills, also instruction taking, giving information and giving and taking instructions. Because in education, it is instruction. We learn through instructions. If a student does not follow instruction, then passing the test or achieving the learning objective will be different, will be difficult. So instructions. But how are we going to do that? Take the instructions first yourself. Make rules in your class that when it's essay writing, everyone must participate. Everyone must produce his essay. Don't ignore students who don't do essays. Don't only focus on those who are very active in doing their essays. Instead, develop group work. Let them work together. Mix them. Carry them together. Do not ignore any student because of his ability. Because our learning ability is not always, maybe this student whom you ignore that is not good in your grammar class or in your essay writing class or in your English, general English class might be very good in other subjects like chemistry or biology. Try to evaluate, make an evaluation. Liaise with other teachers. Ask the chemistry teacher, how is Abdi Hakim in your subject? How does he do tasks? Does he do his activities well? You will be amazed. You are going to find this boy performs very well in these subjects. Now why not English? Maybe the problem lies with you as the teacher. You have not helped him. Be close to him. You know, sit with him. Tell him you can do. You can. Try. If it is to be, it's up to you. Tell the student, your teacher, I'm not good in English. Ask him, do you know why? It's because you are not good to yourself. Do you want to be good? Yes. If it is to be, then it's up to you. So, with that, don't ignore all these aspects of writing. Now, spelling rules, punctuation, another very important aspect. Before I conclude, punctuation. When we talk of punctuation, some teachers take punctuation as commas, colons, semicolons, full stop, question mark. Punctuation begins with capitalization. How do you start a sentence? Start with a capital letter. Tell the student the first sentence, the first word of every sentence. Start with a capital letter. Names of places. They are nouns that you must capitalize. Names of persons. Yeah? So, punctuation. Spelling rules. Spelling rules, especially of verbs, regular and irregular verbs. Take time. Give the student as many activities as you can to improve their spelling. When the student's spelling has been improved, when the student pronunciation has been improved, then the student reading improves. When that improves, the student will be able to develop confidence in using English in spoken and written. So don't ignore any aspect of the unit, from listening and speaking, to reading comprehension, to vocabulary, to grammar, to literature, to writing. Yeah? Let them use the storytelling sessions, the debates, to enhance their communicative skills. Then let them use that into their writing activities. These go hand in hand. So with that remarks, this lesson, a writing lesson, which is the last lesson of our grade 12 English, is going to be, I'm going to end here, since we have said so many about this writing, because every unit there is a writing task, although the writings are different and we have talked about it. Now, the only advice I will give you teachers, please read the book, analyze it yourself before you present to the student. Prepare. Be ahead of your students. Take your work serious, and they will take it serious. When that happens, learning is going to take place. The bottom line, it is the student who is the first and the last. The buck stops with you as the teacher to make sure these objectives are achieved and the students' language learning is improved. With that, I greet you again with the Islamic greeting, and I end here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
murtida dhuux aqoontiisa baro lagama maarmi